Hey friends, and welcome back to Stronger Every Day. So today I wanted to do a quick video on, I get this question from time to time. I've thought it myself from time to time, and that is when you struggle with mental illness like we do, or someone that you love does, is then taking medication for said mental illness a sin? And I've thought this myself. Here's the thing. The short answer is no. Right? The short answer is no. When someone has heart disease, or someone has migraine headaches, or diabetes, thyroid issues, if they have cancer, if they have liver disease, kidney disease, if they have a headache, right? If they have allergies, we don't attack them for taking something to make them feel better, but we tend to attack depression, people that suffer with mental illness, and say, well, you shouldn't need medication to make yourself better. While I don't think that medication is always needs to be the first step in making yourself better, a lot of times when you're in that space of, I'm going to use depression and anxiety because that's what I suffer with, you're struggling to concentrate, you're struggling to focus, you're confused, you're kind of like in a fog, in a brain fog all the time. You can't really make decisions. Everything seems very overwhelming. And so maybe sometimes when you're at that point, that medication is the first line of defense. If you can catch it before you get to that pit, sometimes I think medication is not the first line of defense. I'll use an example of cholesterol. So I went to the doctor, it's been about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I have thyroid issues. And so they went ahead and did a complete panel, and it came back that my cholesterol was elevated. We have heart disease in my family, both sides of the family. And so it was a decent amount high, and she reached out and said, you know, we need to get you on some medication. And so I prayed about it, and then I reached back out to her and I said, you know, I appreciate your concern. What I would like to do is take 3 to 6 months and try to change it on my own, right? And then if it's still high, then we'll talk about medication. And so I guess it's been about a year and a half, between a year and a half and 2 years ago. So that's part of why I had already started vaguely, just in the beginning stages of changing my diet for my mental health and seeing the effects of that. I've talked in depth about sugar and the fact that if I eat candy, cookies, cakes, anything that's just sugar filled, I can feel it in my arthritis within 30 minutes. There is definitely a link between inflammation and sugar, right? And she said, okay, we'll see how it goes. And so no more, you know, fried foods. I had, like I said, it had been a couple weeks. I had already stopped the fast food. We still occasionally will eat fast food, but I don't eat, you know, fried chicken and French fries, and those are really the only two fried things I eat. But so I would do grilled chicken, or a salad, or not French fries, not fried chicken. And I did very sporadically work out. Obviously I work every day, and being outside, you know, you're breaking a sweat, you're working in the garden, you're working with the chickens and with the goats, you're working to maintain things, you're working inside. So, but as far as getting my heart pumping aerobically 30 minutes a day, that was very sporadic. But I made small choices. I cut back on the sodas. I'm a big diet soda drinker. I go through periods where I can cut back, and then I find myself starting back. I don't drink coffee, but I started cutting back on the caffeine and bringing in more water. I started making things and making decisions, and so when I went back, my cholesterol had dropped back into level, and there was no need for a pill, right? So sometimes there is no need for mental illness. I'm cautious to say go get a prescription, right? If you need one, friends, get one, right? If you need medication, get something to help. That's like telling me if I have a migraine that I should just suck it up and deal with it. No, I could take a Tylenol or take an ibuprofen or take an aspirin and help, right? There's even prescription medications for migraines now that you can take. That's like saying, you know, if you broke your arm, and you know, we work for an agency and we see some stuff, and you know, if your bone is protruding through your elbow, that's like saying, well, suck it up, buttercup, and figure it out. We're not going to give you anything for pain, you know? No. Do I think it always needs to be the first line of defense? No. I feel like if you can realize and recognize that you're starting to struggle with mental illness, if you can recognize that you start making changes, you look at your diet. Diet is crucial. It is crucial in mental illness. And what we tend to do is one of two extremes. We eat crap or we eat nothing. Both are bad, right? And it's easier said than done when you're in the throes of mental illness, of making yourself a good meal, because you don't really want to even brush your teeth, right? You don't really even want to take a shower. You don't really want to have to do anything at all. You just want to grab something convenient. So maybe that's a breakfast pastry, right? Or maybe that's a fast food, you know, run get some fast food, or run to the convenience store and grab some bags of stuff. Or maybe you don't eat at all. Both of those are bad. It's focusing first and foremost, trying to get your focus on the Lord, right? If a situation happens, we've talked about this in detail, and it is challenging. I'm not saying that these things aren't challenging. Believe me, I'm not saying they're not. But when something happens, it's taking your focus and trying to get it back on the Lord, and back knowing that He's in control no matter the things that come at us, right? You're really going to want to start paying attention to resting, to your diet, to less caffeine, less smoking, or no smoking and no caffeine. Stay away from alcohol, stay away from drugs, both legal and illegal drugs. Monitor what you do. I'll give you an example. I cannot take Benadryl. So if I have allergies, or if I'm having sort of an allergic reaction, which I actually have right now, I'm not sure if you can see the bumps all over my hand. They're all over my back and all over this arm, a little bit on this arm, and some on my ankles. I don't know why I have it. I haven't done anything different. My back and the back of my neck is way worse than anything else. So this was 2 days ago it started, and that night, you know, Nick said, hey, go ahead and take a Benadryl. And I have to be really sporadic with that, because the whole next day, all of yesterday, I just felt horrible. It interacts with my medication, and it's not good for me to have. When I struggle with allergies, which is a decent amount, about the only thing that doesn't bother me is a Claritin. Benadryl knocks me for a loop. It drains every ounce of me. It makes me feel horrible. It interacts poorly with my depression medication. So all of yesterday, I just felt, just all of yesterday. So it's knowing medications you can and can't take. I've been very open that I take medication for depression, and I take medication for anxiety. The anxiety medication I take not as routinely. I feel like I've gotten some better in that area, and so I'm testing my ability to stretch that out a little bit. Now, if I notice that I'm having a problem, then I'll go ahead and take some of my anxiety medicine. I already cut it in half, and I have since I've been on it. But it's for me, I've never been this stable than I have the past 16 months. And so it's seeing if I can maybe come off some of this. Now, I've talked openly with my doctor about this. If she felt that I would have the ability to come off some of these medicines, and she said, again, anything's possible, but the fact that you've struggled with this for this long, I don't think you're going to be able to come off. I think you're always going to be on some sort of antidepressant. And she's like, it may not be a daily thing. It may be maybe every other day or every third day, or you might be able to cut back dosage, but I don't think you're ever going to be able to come off of it. You know, the possibility's there because, and I've said this before, God can heal everything that ails us, correct? I have zero doubt of that. Now, am I going to get healed on this side of heaven? I don't know. Are you going to get healed on this side of heaven? I don't know. Only God knows that. But to tell someone that, you know, it shows a lack of faith that A, you have mental illness, and B, that then you're going to reach out and try to get medication for it. I think our society today is always on the hunt for a quick fix, and that's the only reason why I would caution against taking a prescription medication. That and all medication has side effects, right? But I can tell you today that there's zero doubt in my mind that if I had not been on medication, I know for a fact 5 years ago, she had brought me off a medication and put me on a new medication. And if you've ever had to switch medications, even when you stagger it, for me, it was a very difficult time, full of suicidal thoughts, full of I can't handle this. It was a very difficult time for Nick to watch me go through that. Just the levels in my brain trying to get used to the new medication. I can tell you that without the medication, that then I would not be here today. There is no doubt in my mind. Do I think that needs to be the first line of defense for every single thing? No. I just gave the example of the cholesterol. I feel like we're always wanting a quick fix, and I've been very open about me, and I don't think many people are different as far as this goes. The medication, I talked to my doctor, she said it's helping you about 30%. So that's 70% that it's not affecting, right? And so then we have all these other, well, you can add this medication and add this medication, and for some people it takes more than one. But it also, if you're gonna just take medication and you're not gonna try to change anything else in your life, that's like putting a band-aid over a broken bone. It will eventually heal, but it's not gonna heal correctly, right? You're gonna have other damage. So I hesitate only in that aspect because medication has side effects, and it's not going to be a quick fix. Most medicine that you take, there's a period of it to get in your system, and it's not short. You know, 2 weeks to 3 months usually it's going to take for a medication that we take for mental illness to get in your system. And so it's not a quick fix anyway. But if you're not going to change anything else, you're just going to take the medicine, that's probably not going to be the help that you need. Again, it's your diet. I can't express how huge that is with so many different ailments, right? I don't think people comprehend. They think, well, it's conspiracy theories, you know, the food administration's out to get you, the drug administration's out to get you, the homestead community's out to get you, the anti whoever is out to get you. Do your own, right? Like, so for me, I thought, you know, sugar, of course, it's not the best thing for you, but it really doesn't do anything per se horrible to your body until I stopped eating sugar. I still cook if something calls for sugar. I still cook with it. What I'm referencing is like the cakes, the candies, the you know, just junk food. And then noticed that my arthritis was getting better. Do I still have arthritis? Yes. Do I still have bouts of it that are pretty? Yes, but it's better. So, you know, things we can do that are gonna help either prevent us from taking medicine or help us in conjunction with the medicine, your diet, physical activity. And that's different for everybody, right? If you don't have any physical activity at all, if you work behind a desk, maybe it's going for a walk at lunch, or going for a walk before morning or after morning. Maybe it's hitting the gym, maybe it's doing an at-home workout, maybe it's coming home and spending 30 minutes to an hour in the garden, maybe it's coming home spending 30 minutes to an hour outside taking care of the animals. Everybody's situation in life is different. So whatever that looks like for you, it's spending time with God. It's cutting back on the things that we know we don't necessarily need a lot of: coffee, caffeines, smoking, drugs, all of those things. It's stopping or eliminating those, and it's trying to do stress relief, which is hard. In the world we live in today, it's all about being busy. How are you? I'm busy. How are you? I'm busy. That's what everybody says. It's two things really: I'm fine or I'm busy, and typically both of those are lies. So anyway, so I hope maybe this helps to kind of clear up some things. I hope maybe it makes you feel a little better if you're questioning this thing for you. Everything there's pros and cons of, right? There's pros not taking medicine, there's cons to not taking medicine. There's things we can do to try to make our situation better that don't require a pill. At the same time, don't be afraid to take something if you need it, right? It's not just in the world of mental illness that people rush for a pill. It's any ailment, right? I can tell you, I bet you out of 100 people, probably 75 or 80 would have said, sure, doc, go ahead and write me a pill for cholesterol. Do you want to play around with high cholesterol? No. Do you want to play around with high blood pressure? No. Do you want to play around with a lot of different ailments? No. But if there's something that you can do, if you talk to your doctor and there's something you think you can try, then try. My dad has went back and forth with, you know, it's on both sides of my family. High blood pressure and heart disease. And so there's times that he has been able to back off some medicine, and there's times he's needed a little bit more. It's all about balance, right? It's all about balance. And attempting. Now, like I said, if she would have come back and said, listen, your number came down, you know, 30 points, but you're still 70 points too high, or however high it would have been, then yes, I would have taken the prescription for cholesterol. But if there's something that you can do to modify and make it a little bit better, right? And then maybe it's something that you can eventually come off of. You know, that's like my thyroid. I have low thyroid. And so I remember when they told me that when I was, I don't know, 18, 19, 20, they told me about that. And I said, well, how long do I have to take this? And they were like, for life, you know. My thyroid stays out of whack quite a bit, but I'm not ashamed to admit that I take thyroid medicine because I have a thyroid issue. I have low thyroid. It affects a lot of things. And, you know, if you have all of these different diseases, don't be ashamed of it. If there's ways you can mitigate it and make it better, either with or without medicine, do it. But, you know, medicine in itself is not a cure-all, but it's certainly not a sin to take it, right? You have to weigh the pros and cons. Like I said, there's going to be consequences for everything you do, right? Whether you take medicine or don't take medicine. If you take the medicine, there's going to be side effects with that medicine, or potential side effects with that medicine. If you don't take that medicine, there's going to be potential issues, right? Because there's a reason you were interested in taking it in the first place. So it's all about balance. It's all about trying to figure it out. One thing, that the medicine did not make me better. It was a combination of things. It was the medication. It was deepening my relationship with God. It was putting God in the center and my life around him instead of fitting God in my life, right? I talked about that in another video. It was putting God in the center of my life. It was changing my diet, changing my eating habits. Do I still occasionally eat fast food? Yes. I mean, yes, it happened just yesterday. I told you I had taken that Benadryl. I was struggling. I was just, I don't know, it's almost like you're asleep but you're awake. You're just groggy, and just that feeling of kind of just being dehydrated, and just, I mean, you just feel horrible. That's how I felt. And I certainly wasn't gonna get up and make dinner. You know, for breakfast and lunch, I just ate their little organic breakfast bars. But that's what I did for breakfast and lunch. But for dinner, I was like, pick something up, you know. Yes, there are times. Are there times I skip a cardio exercise? Yes, I have started getting finally into that with walking and working my body into, I've talked to you about that I have low heart rate and low blood pressure. And at times, one of those will go up and one of them will go down. So either my heart rate will drop and my blood pressure will go up, or my blood pressure will drop and my heart rate will go up. And it's typically if I'm standing active for any period of time. It's gotten better. So I'm easing myself into cardio. And basically right now, just walking for 30 minutes a day, which is more than I was doing. So it's a whole different list. I can link a video above about different things that I've done throughout this journey to get better. But people who don't understand illnesses tend to be the ones that are going to judge you. If someone's never really experienced depression or anxiety, and certainly never admitted to it, because I think to an extent all of us have experienced anxiety about a situation. All of us have had depression about a situation. So situational depression and anxiety, you know, somebody asked me about ADHD the other day, and I said that I don't struggle with that. And I don't think I struggle with that. I have some compulsive tendencies. I'll get in bed at night, and we have fur babies. We have that go in and out to potty. And I'll get in bed at night and I'll think somebody's outside. Somebody's, you know, one of the kids is outside. I forgot to bring somebody in. And so I'll have to get up and get my flashlight and check to make sure everybody's there. Or I'll think, did you lock the door? Did you lock the door? And I know I did lock the door, and I'll have to go back. It's few and far between those instances, but I do have that tendency of when I put the chickens up at night, did you put the carabiner on the door? Just different things that I'll kind of make myself go back and recheck. It's not daily, it's not even weekly, it's very sporadic, but I do have, I think that's more of a compulsive tendency. Anyway, off track. So if you need medication, friends, take medication. Understand that that's not a be-all, cure-all. It comes with its own set of complications. But if it's something that's going to help you, and you're going to make other changes to help you, take what you need to take. I don't understand why we condemn people with mental illness for having mental illness, period, and then taking things, right? It gets thrown out, well, you have a lack of faith. No, I don't have a lack of faith. If I had a lack of faith, I wouldn't be here today. I've said that multiple times. Without God, I am nothing, period. So do what works for you, but understand that it's not a be-all, cure-all, right? It's not a quick fix. Certainly in the mental health area, it's not a quick fix. But if it's something that you need to take it. I take it. I don't feel ashamed to admit that I take it. I actually have feel less shame admitting I take medication than I did admitting that I had depression and anxiety for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been on medication my entire life with my thyroid. So in my mind, how are you going to condemn me for taking mental health medicine but you don't condemn me for taking thyroid medicine, right? Or I had a headache a minute ago, you handed me the medicine, you know. Anyway, I hope that helps, friends. I end every video this way. It's always my heart and my hope that you feel this. God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. Your friends love you, and we need you here. We'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.